Everyone, it's Roman again from ARTrageous Adventures, and today I'm going to be teaching you about our Artist of the Month and doing a project based on his work. So our artist for April is Willem de Kooning. He was a Dutch-American abstract expressionist, and his birthday is April 24th. He lived from 1904 to 1997, so almost 100 years. But I am going to focus on his late paintings from around the 1980s, which were known as his ribbon paintings from the way that they look. We'll try to drop in some pictures here so you can see them, so you can see what I'm trying to do here. So I've started out with just sort of a piece of blank cardstock. You can use that if you have some at home, or a canvas if you like. I have some palette paper here to put my paints on, and all these different paints right in front of me. You're also going to want some string, scissors probably to cut your string, and then I also have just some water and some brushes and a little towel on hand. So de Kooning's ribbon paintings, or his late paintings, were characterized by lots of sort of like solid squiggly lines, and they had different sort of blocks of color in between them. Lots of white, lots of yellows, some pinkish hues and things like that. So that is what we're going to be recreating today, with some string painting and also filling in with some brushwork. So you're going to want to start out with your string. Let's see how well mine works. This is sort of like a twine. Should be fine though. I'm just gonna cut a decent amount right here to start out. And I think I'm gonna start out with some red. We'll start out with some dark red right here. See what happens. I'm not looking at one of his paintings specifically right now, like as a reference, but I'm familiar with the works. You can see some of them at the Walker or at the Mia. There's a couple pieces there that I really love. So I'm kind of just keeping those in mind. You can look up some of these paintings. We can drop some in the video, and you can get sort of an idea for yourself of what they look like. So what I'm doing here now is I have my length of string. I'm taking a brush to coat it. If you can see that, taking a brush to coat my string here, and then I'm going to take the painted part of the string and drop it down onto the paper, kind of push it down a little bit. Whoa. And then I've got a cool mark like that in the shape of the string. So I'm going to keep doing that for a little while, check back in with you guys in a bit, and I'll show you what I've got. Alright, so you can see I've got a couple of my different marks here on my paper. Getting started, you can kind of do this whichever way you want because it's abstract. One technique I found useful already with your string painting, I'll hold this up closer. So I've put sort of the color into one little area here, and then am bunching up the string and using my brush to push the paint around and coat the string. That has been really useful. And another useful tip, once you put the string down on the paper, something I found that helps also is taking the paintbrush and using that end of it to press down and roll along the string. That's doing two things. That is transferring as much paint onto the paper as possible, and it's also making my line a little bit thicker, which is nice because my string is not super thick, and I would like to have some thick lines on here. So just with the one I just did, you can see this sort of cool J shape right here. And yeah, I'm gonna keep going. I'll check back in a minute. Now that I have sort of the basis for my painting here, and I've laid down my main like string marks, I want to start filling it in a little bit. So before this is completely dry, I'm going to take some white paint. I have a lot right here. This is all acrylic paint still. And I'm going to put out some white paint here on my palette paper. I have sort of a bigger brush to use for this one. And with the white paint, I'm going to just get some on here and then go in and start filling around these marks a little bit. And I'm hoping that it won't be completely dry and that some of these colors will blend together. It's happening a little bit right here, a little bit of that color is showing through, but I kind of want a little more than that. So I'm going to take some of my red that is not completely dry yet and mix that in with a little bit of white over here, just for a very light pink shade, because I don't want it to be completely white. I want to be able to tell the difference between the paint and the paper. And I will show you in a second, but what I'm doing now is just sort of filling in some of this blank space around my lines. And I'm going to bring it in really close, like this. I'm taking the pink here, going all the way up to the edge of this string line, and just filling in some of this blank space. Now that I've filled in all of my areas of sort of blank space here, my painting is finished. I've done lots of color blocking, sort of setting different areas to be more pink or more yellow. I've also gone in and added a couple lines with my paintbrush to mirror some of the string painting. And at this point, once your painting has dried a little bit, you can go back in with the string and you could add more marks if you like. Or you could keep adding with the brush. But these paintings generally are not too busy, these ribbon paintings. They sort of have some distinct lines and some color block spaces, and that's some of the definitive characteristics of them. So I would love to see what paintings you make inspired by de Kooning, and also I would love it if you stay tuned for next month for our Artist of the Month, Keith Haring. I'll be doing another awesome project then about him and his work. Thanks for watching. Bye.